Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome back to the Black 10 Premier League podcast, episode 6, by the way, already. My name is Mark DePoli. I'd like to thank you for being here, and if you like what we do, make sure you leave a like, because we're about to preview what's happening in this episode.
That's pretty much one of the big reasons we won against St. Pat's on the weekend.
If we can hold the ball, we're happy with possession, but if we need to adapt and play on the counter, we can. I think we've played 4 different formations in 4 games as well.
Yes, week 6 of the podcast brings with it a great number of Premier League matches, and especially match of the round games. Unfortunately, we couldn't get the ever-busy Quakers Hill Juniors onto the podcast this week from their Women's Premier League entity, so I really do apologise for that. But busy schedules aside, we have 2 teams in the PL2 who have very interesting cases to go with their seasons so far. Cue that intro music. That baseline is just forever funky. Leave a like if you like the baseline. A quick word on the Men's Premier League match of the round that happened on Saturday night. What an enthralling competition game that was. 2-1 it went the way of Workers over Ropes, but some incredible goals were scored and a really awesome storyline in that game. But we had some midweek catch-ups, which means we have a lot of results to go through. So I'm going to put some footage on from that game, the women's game on Sunday as well, and I'm basically going to talk over the top of it and give you the results from the 2 rounds that we've had. The normal round and the catch-up round. So, bear with me, keep your eyes on the screen. Prospect find themselves pointless after 3 rounds of the Premier League 1 after suffering a heavy 5-1 loss to Marion, but then also losing a crucially important 5-3 against Quakers Juniors, who can use that momentum now to springboard their season. That was Wednesday. On Saturday, Quakers did go down 6-2 to Eastern Creek, mind you. That means that sandwiched between Quakers, who have 3 points, and last place Prospect are Ropes Crossing, who after losing the match of the round, went down 3-2 to Eastern Creek, and actually also now surprisingly find themselves on 0 points like Prospect. Of course, Ropes did go down on Saturday in the match of the round to Workers, a Workers side who just lost 3-1 at home in the catch-up game midweek to Dooney. That was after Dooney narrowly beat Riverstone Schofields 1-0. Riverstone themselves went down in a frankly crazy 4-3 to Ponds in midweek after being up 2-0 at half-time. Some incredible goals scored in that game as well. Speaking of the Ponds boys, they lost 2-1 to Tigers in an unexpected one on Saturday, but of course they came back and beat Rivo. Unfortunately for Tigers, who were on such a high, they were utterly humiliated 7-0 by Marion, who are just looking ridiculously good at the top of the table. 18 goals scored, 3 conceded, tied on first place. The PL2, Rudy Hill was smashed 5-0, then 4-0 by Parkley, then in the match of the round by St. Pat's. We discussed the rarity of Newbury's results in this episode, but they picked up 2 draws against Town Rangers and Glenwood, so be sure to keep an eye on that. 1-1 and 2-2 they were. Glenwood won their first game of the season 4-1 against Oakville, then of course drew to Newbury as we mentioned. Again, Town Rangers drew with Newbury, then lost 7-1 to Polonia. Wow. Oakville lost to Glenwood, bouncing back to hand Parkley their first loss of the season, 5-3, with Mwene John Malenja getting on the score sheet in that one. Polonia beat St. Pat's 4-3, then St. Pat's recovered in the match of the round convincingly, and in first place off the back of that is, of course, Polonia. Parkley tied 1-1 with champions Holroyd in the B.P.L. Kellyville beat the busy Quakers Juniors 5-3. Norwest beat Quakers Tigers 3-0. Rouse Hill Rams picked up their first win of the season as a club, 3-0 over Castle Hill United in a surprising one. Winston Hills of course beat Marion in the match of the round, and as that goal goes in, hello and welcome back to seeing me instead of some highlights. So yes, the men's match of the round places Polonia against Newbury. The undefeated Newbury, no less. There's something of a Ponds reunion happening at Polonia, and those boys are starting to really look like they're taking shape. So, let's go chat to Cullen. Michael Cullen, welcome back to the podcast, my friend. Thanks for finding the time to fit me into your busy schedule. 6 points in first, 6 points in reserves. But that's where my praise starts and ends for now. I want to ask about the Park League game that was the first game of the season, an enthralling round 1 clash, even though I didn't go your way. But you did get to face another promotion favourite right off the bat. So how exciting was that match to play in, and are you keen to play them again later on in the season?
Yeah, no, it was good. It was good to start off the season with the standard of First Division. So, yeah, it was a bit of a slow start, but, yeah, definitely good to get a taste, and I think we're more than ready to give them a good challenge next time we verse them.
For sure. You then bounced back with a win over Glenwood, and then last week's insane 4-3 comeback against St. Pat's, 2 goals in 2 minutes and very late on in the match as well, including one from new signing Lockie Nixon. So obviously he couldn't be here today, but Talk to me about how good it's been to have, an old mate back. Last time you would have been with him would have been at Ponds. So, talk to me about, reuniting with a good mate and what does he do for the team?
Yeah, it's pretty good. We're slowly getting everyone coming back to Polonia one by one, all the boys. But yeah, as you can see, Lockie's slowly easing back into the team. We needed goals. As last year, you see, we're pretty low in goals, so now we got a lot of numbers coming through the last few games. So 4 goals in one game, pretty decent.
Absolutely. And I can't wait to see how that combination goes because you guys have been playing together for a while. You got Newbury this weekend. They're winless, but they're undefeated. Do you know much about them at all? Have you heard anything coming through the rumor mill? Or is that the answer just simply no?
No, I think we know 1 or 2 players that play for Newbury, but not much about their play style. We've seen them play 7-a-side more than anything. Some of the boys have played here, so big field's a completely different game. So be exciting to see the new team.
Yep, absolutely it is, and I think it'll be my first time watching any of them as well. So I'm just as keen as you are. Very final question: what are Polonia hoping to achieve in 2024?
2024, definitely promotion. Promotion's the biggest goal for us this year. We got a bit of depth this year, so we're hoping that we can easily get the promotion. That's what we're hoping for.
One thing I probably should ask as well while we're here is I know there was a maybe you could call it a bit of a disconnect between first and reserve grade last year. I'm under the impression that that's changed this year. Would I be correct in assuming that?
Yeah, well, this year it's massive. We've got a big group of boys that all like playing with each other. So we got 3 squads, massive depth. Everyone's keen to play up and down. So that's pretty much one of the big reasons we won against St. Pat's on the weekend. We had heaps of support in the last 20 minutes of the game, which we didn't really have last year. So now I think that back into the game, we're pretty dangerous still.
Brilliant. Well, you guys are doing so well to start the year, and I think it's going to be really exciting to promote and push. Thanks very much for coming on the podcast. I really do appreciate it, mate. See you this weekend.
No, all good. See you on the weekend.
Welcome back. As you can see, Michael Cullen's in a good mood. Of course, Polonia are advised-coached by Henrik Moiser, a former Polish international footballer, no less. They're on top, and they look good. But Newbury are undefeated. Polonia aren't undefeated, even though they're top. So that's very interesting. But they also haven't won a game. They're just 1 gear away from probably propelling themselves into top 4 contention. So will they find it this weekend? Let's ask them. For the first time since we started covering the Premier League matches in Blacktown, we've had a team finish with 4 draws to start the season. Yes, newcomers to the competition, Newbury Bulls, have had an undefeated yet a winless start to the season. It's quite an incredible thing to consider. And we're here to unpack how that is. Brenton Smith is one of the club's star players and senior figures in the side, and he joins us live this morning from home. Brenton, you sit, yes, towards the bottom of the table, but you're the only team undefeated in the entire competition this year. That's incredibly strange, don't you think?
Yeah, a little bit. It's been an interesting start. Going through all the games, we've had some games we should have won, some games we probably shouldn't have won. So I guess it evens out in the end, but it's been an interesting start. A lot of quality in the competition, which is one thing I've noticed so far, which is good. But our team's real young, and we've had a really good start to the year. Like, I think the oldest boy in the team's 23, so a lot of fight in the youth, which is good to see, actually.
Yeah, certainly it is. And it's the start of a project, and next year if you start with a couple of wins rather than 4 draws, then you're sitting way up higher, and you're competing right from the top. So. What impresses me is that 3 out of those 4 draws, you've actually considered the first goal in, meaning that you had to show the fight back. You had to recover in those games. 2 of those games, the equalising goal was beyond the 85th minute. On Wednesday night, that goal was in the 92nd minute. So for a new team, there's a lot of fighting spirit there, something that you sort of see with teams who have been together for a long time. That's not necessarily your case. So where has that fight come from?
I think a lot of just belief in the team. Obviously, the boys, a lot of them played elsewhere beforehand, what's been new or coming in together. We've had a long preseason. We've been training since November, December last year with the main part of the squad with a couple of boys coming in late. But I don't know, it's just rocking up for each other, really. That's our big mentality. We're brothers on the field, off the field. So it's just that fight for one another to try and get to the end, I guess, and not giving up. So I guess our fitness plays a good part in it too, the late goals too. We've had a long, like I said, long preseason, a lot of fitness work. So I guess we can kind of run over teams a little bit at the back end. But yeah, more the brotherhood we're building is second to none, I reckon.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I hadn't even considered that. Considering it was a Wednesday night game, you had a shorter amount of games to back up from. But if you've been training for, next to 6 months at this point, there's no wonder why you guys are still firing beyond the 80th minute. This weekend's game, Polonia, it's not easy. They've just put 7 on Town Rangers in what feels like a sort of coming of ages performance for them. They've sort of found their groove now. What's the key for Newbury turning 1 point into 3 and staying competitive in this game?
I reckon the biggest thing is just staying switched on for 90 minutes. We've played a lot of good 70-minute, 80-minute periods. And those just little 10-minute lapses has just cost us big time a little bit. So obviously Polonia, I know they lost a couple of people last year after different clubs this year, but then again they've built it back up, and 7-1's nothing to be like proud of. That's something to be proud of. It's a big win, especially against Town Rangers, and we drew against Town Rangers. So if we can get a 90-minute performance in, I'll be very confident. But yeah, so I think a lot of it comes down to just sticking to what we've known, playing to our processes, not panicking. Then the results should turn, hopefully.
Certainly. So, if we are to see a good 90-minute performance, what kind of football can we expect to see? Like, maybe you're honest in saying we like to go long, or if you like to use your youthful energy. I'm not sure what it is because I never got the pleasure of
Yeah.
seeing you play. So,
No,
what kind of football can we expect?
we like to play a lot of short passing. So we've got a lot of good young creative midfielders who aren't afraid to bring the ball down in contested areas. So a lot of the football we like to see is fast paced, move the ball quickly, create those isolations, one-on-ones. But also our defensive shape's been really good. I know we haven't kept the clean sheet yet, but a lot of our defenses held up real well, and we can play on the counter as well. So we've got that variation of either holding the ball or countering. So just different stuff like that. That's stuff going off there. Yeah, just if we can hold the ball, we're happy with possession. But if we need to adapt and play on the counter, we can. I think we've played 4 different formations in 4 games as well, just adapting to different circumstances. So I think that's something we'll assess on the day, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, look, and certainly considering how early we are in the season, how many of the games there are to go, a couple of 3-point holes, and you guys are back up right where you said in the preseason you wanted to be fighting for those topper spots. So it won't take much to turn that around. Brendan, this has actually been a really fantastic and insightful podcast. Really do appreciate you coming on the Friday morning. Good luck this weekend. Thank you very much.
Thanks, mate. Thanks for having us.
Welcome back, and thank you for tuning into this week's interviews. I'm delighted you've got to this point in the episode, I truly am. The fixtures are going to be fun this weekend. St Pat's host Parklea, Rudy Hill host Glenwood, Oakville have Town Rangers, and the match of the round is Polonia and Newbury. Ropes host Dooney in what is a must-win game for both teams for completely different reasons. Tigers and River both have a chance to pick themselves back up after disappointing losses against each other. Workers have Quakers, who are on a high. Prospect have Ponds. Creek were the only team to beat Marion last year, and they did it at Morrow Reserve. We go again for round 2. In the B.P.L, Norwest have Parklea, Winston Hills have Kellyville. Marion go to Holroyd. The match of the round is Juniors against Rouse Hill Rams, as Tigers go to Castle Hill United. My name is Mark DePoli. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Blacktown Premier League podcast. It's always a delight to have you, and if you've got to this point of the episode, you just have to leave a like. You're obliged to leave a like at this point. Subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you around the grounds this weekend. Fingers crossed for nice good weather. Cue the outro music.